It is my privilege and honor to invite Professor Tommy Lithanen to present his paper at the meeting today, this morning. Because of some urgent work, Principal Monoranjan Goswami will not be able to join us for the session, so he will join us later. So, Professor Tommy Lithanen.
Thank you very much, Kishore, and thank you for the organizers and especially Principal Goswami for kind invitation to participate in this great seminar. My presentation today is related to a research project that examines the concept of globalization in school curricula in India, China, Taiwan, Indonesia, and Finland. And the project focuses on the ethical implications of globalization based on national curricula and empirical data to be collected from teachers and classrooms in the 5 countries involved in this study. The project is funded by the UK-based Cultural Evolution Society Transformation Fund. The purpose of my talk is to explore and analyze how globalization and cultural diversity are addressed in the Finnish national curriculum for comprehensive school. I focus on the findings of desk research, supported by pertinent commentary based on ethics and globalization literature. Concerning the Finnish school system, it is important to note that the comprehensive school provides education in grades 1 to 9 for children aged 7 to 15. My study is particularly concerned with the ethical implications of the curriculum's perspectives on globalization and cultural diversity. In this case, ethical implications signifies how various ethical concepts, such as rights, duties, and consequences, interact with one another, which concepts are most important, and what kind of overall ethical view can be formed based on the curriculum. In order to examine this topic, I will focus on the following questions. What does the Finnish curriculum say about globalization and culture? How and from what perspective are diverse cultures and multiculturalism portrayed in the Finnish school curriculum? What challenges and opportunities are associated with globalization? And finally, how and to what extent does the curriculum frame these challenges and opportunities in terms of ethical concepts, such as rights, duties, and moral consequences? In what follows, I try to answer these questions by analyzing and critically evaluating the Finnish curriculum. Globalization is not explicitly defined or explained in the Finnish school curriculum. To set the stage for the analysis, let us consider the following as a working definition for globalization. Globalization refers to the processes by which the production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services, including knowledge and education, become increasingly uniform all over the world. Besides its economic orientation, globalization is often blamed for cultural homogenization or the watering down of local traditions. This is referred to as the westernization of culture and is frequently considered a potential source of cultural conflicts. Homogenization and the westernization of cultures are frequently viewed unfavorably. A critical perspective on globalization provides many opportunities for ethical evaluation of the topic. Insofar as critical perspective focuses on unequal economic benefits of globalization, the ethical orientation can be aligned with the discussion of universal human rights, such as the right to life, equality, and freedom from discrimination, while simultaneously including consequential ethical considerations with regard to social sustainability. Thus, different ethical models provide useful distinctions and tools for an analysis of a school curriculum. In what follows, I concentrate on the utilitarian and deontological frameworks. Despite the fact that the media frequently focuses on the economic effects of globalization, teachers and curriculum planners can be expected to take additional effects, such as social and cultural transformations, such as the rise of living standards, the widening of income gaps, and a range of inequality issues, in the account in order to provide pupils with a comprehensive understanding of what globalization entails. Perhaps also to prevent and mitigate possible culture-related conflicts among pupils. Thus, the discussion of globalization has obvious and important ethical dimensions, both at individual and at community level. From 2014 to 2017, Finland reformed the national core curriculum at all levels of education: early childhood, pre-primary, primary and lower secondary, and upper secondary. As a result, the core curriculum now forms a more or less coherent progression throughout the entire education system. Without delving into the pedagogical theory debate, the current Finnish curriculum can be said to be based on socio-constructivist educational theory, despite the fact that the term is not mentioned in the curriculum. The term socio-constructivist refers to the recognition of cultural and contextual issues in learning situations, as opposed to generic and non-contextualized knowledge construction. It is anticipated that such recognition will help pupils develop in a way that is responsive to their local cultural environment, to unique local characteristics, and to societal shifts such as globalization and digitalization. Thus, socio-constructivism emphasizes the construction of knowledge based on pupils' prior knowledge and interaction with the changing social environment. In the introductory chapter, the Finnish core curriculum declares that its purpose is to support and guide the organization of teaching and schoolwork, as well as to encourage the uniform implementation of basic education. Although the curriculum provides general guidelines at the national level, the curriculum is further expanded at the local level in municipalities. Eventually, the local curriculum is what establishes the authoritative basis for education and provides direction for daily schoolwork. However, it is still up to each teacher to decide how and to what extent they cover particular topics, such as globalization and cultural diversity, in class. Teachers at the individual level are thus the ultimate gatekeepers of curriculum. And curriculum is not the only thing that affects teachers. For example, teacher education, school principals, and the parents of the students all play a role. In what follows, I review and critically evaluate the Finnish core curriculum's approach to globalization at a general level. According to the curriculum, global education in comprehensive school contributes to the creation of conditions that are conducive to fair and sustainable development, in line with the United Nations Development Goals, SDGs. The curriculum states that this educational effort should be carried out to the greatest extent possible in cooperation with educational institutions and developers in other countries. Thus, in addition to the primary national requirements for education, the Finnish core curriculum also recognizes the importance of an international perspective. The core curriculum holds that nationally and internationally, basic education is a positive society-building force for change. In this way, the Finnish school curriculum takes a broadly positive view of globalization as a process of internationalization and cooperation. It's worth noting that the curriculum links cultural diversity to the goal of community building. In this regard, the curriculum is optimistic about the ability of people from diverse backgrounds to effectively collaborate, which represents a constructive ideal of the coexistence of different cultures. The various components of globalization, including its economic, social and cultural aspects, are not problematized or debated in the curriculum. This is, in a way, understandable, given that the curriculum's purpose is to provide schools and teachers with clear and achievable learning objectives. Those in charge of developing the curriculum may believe that critically evaluating different aspects of globalization would cause teachers to be hesitant and confused about which path to take and how to present globalization to pupils. In light of this, the Finnish core curriculum's streamlined approach to globalization is understandable, outright restrictive. The Finnish curriculum places the greatest emphasis on the cultural and socio-political aspects of globalization, which is demonstrated by the fact that cultural diversity is a topic covered throughout the curriculum. This might be considered peculiar, given how frequently the economic consequences of globalization are discussed in the media. The economic aspect of globalization becomes most apparent when the curriculum discusses work and professions. The curriculum emphasizes how work and professions are changing as a result of technological advancement and economic globalization. As a result, the curriculum approaches globalization in a practical and utilitarian, perhaps even uncritical manner. Globalization is acknowledged as a social fact that is essentially irreversible, and school children are regarded as being in need of knowledge and skills to help them navigate the globalized world and labor market. However, in order to encourage more nuanced globalization teaching and help students learn more about globalization issues, school education must go beyond the economic dimension of globalization. In a sense, this appears to be the case with the Finnish curriculum, in which cultural diversity is viewed favorably. The Finnish curriculum considers cultural diversity as a source of wealth and well-being. According to the curriculum, comprehensive education in Finland is built on a diverse cultural heritage that has been and continues to be shaped by interaction of different cultures. This assertion can be interpreted in two ways, descriptively or normatively, stating a fact or proposing a norm. Despite Finland's long history of having a relatively homogeneous cultural milieu, the curriculum emphasizes cultural exchange. There are obvious reasons for this. Over the last 50 years, an increasing number of immigrants with refugee, student, and professional status from various countries and continents have moved to Finland. Some of these immigrants were repatriating Finnish natives who had moved to neighboring Sweden several decades previously. Nonetheless, as a result of this overall increase in immigration, Finland has become more international than ever before. Despite its generally positive outlook on cultural diversity, the Finnish curriculum makes relatively few mentions of cultural interaction, such as the spread of artistic influences or cultural currents. These mentions appear in the context of arts, music, needlework, and handicraft education. The three major areas where the positive effects of school education are assumed to be fulfilled in relation to cultural diversity are pupils' cultural identity, active participation in their culture and community, and interest in other cultures. Furthermore, the curriculum assumes that education can foster creativity and respect for cultural diversity, foster interaction within and between cultures, and lay the foundation for culturally sustainable development. As a result, the curriculum strongly supports the widely acknowledged goal of social and cultural sustainability, which refers to meeting basic human needs such as social justice and human rights, while also ensuring the well-being of future generations. The Finnish curriculum points out that pupils from different cultural and language backgrounds meet each other in comprehensive education, and come in contact with a wide variety of customs, community practices, and viewpoints. The curriculum optimistically states that pupils learn to see from the perspective of the life situations, see things from the perspective of the life situations and circumstances of others. This ability to change one's perspective and to truly understand and empathize with the values and experiences of another is not necessarily inherent, but requires training. Furthermore, the curriculum assumes that language, culture, religion, and worldview boundaries can be crossed in school education, provided that teaching is tailored to the interest and skill level appropriate to pupils' age. Without giving any specific examples of how such crossing is possible, the curriculum says that learning together across various boundaries creates the conditions for genuine interaction and community. Thus, the curriculum appears to assume that when pupils from different cultural backgrounds gather in a classroom, they will automatically cross cultural boundaries. Even if this is true to some extent, one would expect the possibility of cultural conflicts to be considered as well, which is not the case in the Finnish curriculum. According to the curriculum, basic education lays the foundation for global citizenship that respects human rights and encourages action for positive social changes. Thus, the Finnish curriculum has a highly positive outlook on the enrichment and cultural exchanges that education in schools can foster. According to the curriculum, pupils will learn first about the culture of their school community and home region in the past and present, as well as the cultural environment and changes and diversity within it. Second, pupils are said to have opportunities for international collaboration and the comparison of different cultures, customs, and traditions. The curriculum concludes that cultural diversity is fundamentally a positive asset. The curriculum emphasizes that teaching promotes knowledge and understanding of cultures and ideologies, worldviews and religious traditions, such as Christianity and the tradition of Western humanism. In the same context, no other cultural, religious, or philosophical tradition is mentioned. The curriculum also states that along with respect for life, other people and nature, the inviolability of human dignity, respect for human rights and the democratic values of Finnish society, such as fairness and equality, should be emphasized. Cooperation and responsibility, the promotion of health and well-being, the growth of good habits, and the promotion of sustainable development are used as the building blocks of civilization. These can be viewed as important and demanding goals in a globalizing world confronted with climate change and other environmental and social problems. As a result, the curriculum approaches global issues from a solution-oriented perspective. The Finnish curriculum points out that pupils grow up in a world that is culturally, linguistically, religiously, and ideologically diverse. Against this background, the curriculum says that cultural competence is necessary for living and working in a way that is culturally sustainable. Respect for human rights, interaction skills, and the ability to express oneself and one's views are said to underpin such competence. Thus, the curriculum emphasizes proficiency in self-expression, including literacy and language skills, as an important dimension of cultural competence. Especially regarding grades 7 to 9, or the upper level of comprehensive school, that is, students in the age bracket of 13 to 50. The curriculum says that schoolwork aims to support the formation of students' cultural identity and a culturally sustainable lifestyle based on respect for human rights. As stated, students are guided to see cultural diversity as a fundamentally positive asset. At the same time, they are guided to recognize how cultures, religions, and worldviews affect society and daily life, and to consider what actions are